Best of the best, but the throat has to be right, everything has to be right. Going on the throat theory, brilliant, and everything else, but they have to have a special pigeon. Not all pigeons are special.
Oh, I never actually studied with books in the winter as people do with pedigrees. But we go to the loft, pick the best cock, look round for the best hen, put them together. Next, do the next one, put them together.
Yes, I think that's another big mistake with fanciers. You know, if they've got a bird of a particular strain, for instance a cockbird, then all they'll pair it with is a hen bird of that same family. And that's not necessary. You want good to good. Doesn't matter what the strain is, good to good.
There's only one way to find a racer, that's race it. There's only one way to find a breeder, that's breed from it. There is no other way. It's no good looking in their eyes or looking at all the pedigrees. There is no way. If there was another way, if there was a way of breeding, or they only come out of these fantastic pigeons, only the very wealthy men would have them, you know. But it's the same with horse racing, it doesn't work like that.
99% of the superbirds in Holland and Belgium were bought by coincidence.
A lot of people, the same families, it must be a Janssen or it must be this, it must be that, to pair to that. Now then, we still breed just as much rubbish as we always did. No getting away from it, you know, we do.
The fancier who can form a super pair does not exist.
I think our best pigeons definitely come from crossing of 2, 3 very good families.
Most of my best pigeons come from crosses. That's 2 good lines from 2 different families, or even 3 different families together. And that's where the good pigeons come from. And you can look at all the pedigrees that are shown on the national winners. You can look at them on the internet today, and you can see that same thing. 2 or 3 different families together, and they breed a super.
And it was kind of fun, mating all those birds and changing the matings and making papers and tear them to pieces. But then I learned how much luck you need, and from now on it's about free mating.
I have 3 couples over. I have put, take your what you like. And sometimes out these 3 comes a super pigeon. So it is a mystery.
And I say I've had pigeons living in the next boxes to one another for years, and they've never been paired together. And then maybe the hen from the one has died and the cock from the other, or whatever. Something's happened to it, or it's got out, or something. Pair them together. Well, they've gone together themselves, and champions have come from that pair. And they've lived next to one another for 5 years.
So first is the champion bird, later the breeding couple. Yeah. So easy as that. That's why free mating. If there was any person in the whole world who could make up breeding couples, that would be the end of the sport. Yeah? So the breeding pair doesn't make the champion makes the breeding pair, the champion bird. And that's practice. All the rest is BS.
Well, from the 70s. The last pair to pair together. A tiny little blue cock, insignificant pale yellow eyes, short in the body. A long cast droopy tailed checker hen with a crooked keel. Put them together, they bred pigeons as one from 80 miles to 650 miles. And really won at national level. You know, thousands of pounds.
But also a lot of fanciers are putting together a group of pigeons, half a dozen hens, half a dozen cocks, probably their best ones, and then letting them into a section and let them choose their own partners. And love matings, from those matings has come a lot of national winning pigeons. So you can't knock it. When you get results from doing something, then you carry on.
My neighbor, it was a long time ago, he was a rich guy, and he bought very expensive birds everywhere, bred of super pigeons. And what he did was made the most expensive cock with the most expensive hen, and so on and so on. And he ended up with 2 birds that he got somewhere, one from his nephew, one from a local guy. And this couple became the parents of one of the best pigeons in history. That was the famous 05 from Mr. Vermeulen from Kaan. With Klak, same happened with his 613. The father, he wanted to sell. Nobody wanted it. It was too big. And he didn't want to kill either. And in winter, he put it in a loft with a hen. And he wanted to undersit eggs under that pair, but for some mysterious reason, he bred a baby of this pair. He never knew why, but this pair became the parents of one of the best birds he ever had, 613, pure coincidence.
Well, my philosophy on breeders is similar to an old lady once who was on about gardening, and she said you must keep the plants young. You must prune hard and keep the garden young, because you don't get good products out of worn out products. So I agree with that. Good pigeons. Not in every instance.
But old hens, no matter what, I don't like to see old hens. You know, your breeding loft mustn't be an old age pensioner's home. Youth and vitality is what it is.
Whether they get complacent with the same hen or what, I don't know. But you will find over the years that if you leave them together, the youngsters will get slower and slower.
I am a man for breeding, not with old birds. But when you have an old bird and it was so a fantastic good pigeon, you cannot make him that. Eh? That's not possible. But yeah, then I give him a young girl. So when they give me also a young girl possible, I bred also still. That's possible, but I don't know it.
If you've got an old cock in there, 10, 11, 12 years old, and he's been really good, by all means, let him stay if he's fertile, but give him a young hen.
But a lot of good pigeons do come from yearlings, or a yearling on one side. But I wouldn't condemn a pigeon just because it was old, especially a cock, because he can be just as good, but he needs a young hen.
He said also, you can have it from the first egg, from a young hen. And that's very important, because the first eggs from a couple, that is for me from 100%, I like it, 100%. His first eggs from a hen.
The real piece of paper is the result sheet, not a pedigree. It's also a piece of paper that doesn't matter to me. Yeah, especially Taiwanese. They know my pedigrees better than I do. They always choose the bad birds, the inbred. And you saw my best results, my best birds yesterday. They were all crossings. So for me it's a very good selection to let them choose. They buy the bad birds and leave me the good birds. Best selection there is. Let them choose. Also when they come to your house, when they buy babies, I let them choose. Most of them get the big ones. They think big is strong. So they leave me the good ones. The small ones, mostly hens. Yeah. And the crossings. Is this pigeon pure your bloodlines? No, it's a crossing. Oh, I don't want it then. Those are my best. That I don't want. Good birds and a fancier who sees everything. Who, and the no-nonsense policy, get rid of the bad ones, sell the good ones, and keep the supers. That's the secret. The Bible should be the result sheet, and you should select on that and forget all the rest.